I Okay, so the last couple of days, because of Asadullah Ali, have been a little bit crazy for me, and I have a sin score in the making for him because I have 6 tweets that I'd like to review with my other persona, Atid. But he's really brought out the weirdest characters in the world to troll me. I literally have a man who is so obsessed with my menstrual cycle. Like, he's like obsessed with the fact that I talk about my periods. Like, girls don't do that. I made a joke that Asadullah was on his period because he was acting like a little bitch, and he was acting like a little bitch. And for some reason, this guy just like searched all the times that I said the word period. I don't know why. It's fucking creepy. And if y'all come across Muhammad al-Halabi, please just don't touch that with a 10-foot pole because it's fucking creepy. It's so creepy. Leave me alone.
I'm a little bit unholy, so what, so's everyone else.
Anyways, welcome back to another video. I am here to bring you the second part of the last feature-length video that I did, the one where I was talking about the best things about leaving Islam. And I would like to continue that because I didn't really get into comments and questions, and I really wanted to do that because I have a few, and I thought that I didn't want to make the last video too long, so here I am to complete that video. Also, in other news, last week was a completely insane week for me because I had 2 job interviews that I haven't heard back from yet, but both of them were really, really well. One of them went extraordinarily well, and the other one went well as well. So I'm really hoping to hear back from them very, very soon and be out of my unemployment situation, or like partial employment situation. I also had 2 different interviews with the BBC, one of which was on the BBC Asian network, where we talked about free speech and we talked about divine punishment. So if you have not seen that yet, please do leave me a comment. I would gladly link you to that because I genuinely feel like I did really, really well. The other one was about me being a millennial, and it wasn't that important. But that one was one that I was really proud of, and I gave my first live speech. In Bristol at the Wills Memorial Building, in collaboration with the Bristol Free Speech Society as well as Faith to Faithless. I have the audio for that, and I will be putting it up on my YouTube channel on Wednesday, but it's currently available on my Patreon for your viewing pleasure. If you are a patron of mine, all links are in the description below, to my Patreon and everything else. So if you're interested in watching it early before I upload it on Wednesday, there isn't that long a wait. But if you would like to go and see it, right now, then please do visit my Patreon and consider becoming a patron of mine. But to get into the video, the best things about leaving Islam. Now, we talked about some of it last week, the benefits of free thought, the benefits of no longer being isolated and prejudiced towards people who weren't Muslim, the benefits of ownership of every single moment of your life and taking pleasure in every single moment of your life and learning from each moment. Enjoying new feelings, enjoying everything, enjoying new people, reconciling all the bad that happens to you as just chaos and things that you can definitely get past. So those were some of the things that I thought were the best things about me leaving Islam, but I would also like to read some stuff that other people said and asked, for the build up to this video. They left me some comments and some questions, and I would like to address them. Sorry, that was terrible. Faye, how are you giving a speech when you can't talk? I don't know. Anyways, but my Nabi, my Rasul, my favorite person on Twitter, saf.com, left me a comment, and she said that the best things about leaving Islam is the confidence boost, having to stand up for myself, and beliefs, having boosted my ability to speak and carry myself more confidently. It lessened my fears, and so I'm less anxious than I used to be when taking risks. And I can appreciate that. I became so much more confident having left Islam, because when I was a Muslim, I was really scared of saying things and getting things wrong, because not just because I would look like an idiot, which I don't really care too much about now, but also because I may be punished for saying something incorrect or get a sin for that. So it's definitely taken away that stress, and me being just genuine and honest and just saying what I have to say is much easier now. From Kamal 310, he said, the best thing I felt was the absence of guilt, which was always there to haunt me. Also, doing good things for the world and people with the expectation of afterlife and reward is no longer something he thinks about. It's just, he just does good things for being a good person, and he doesn't have to worry about feeling guilty for really normal things. The next question is from irreligionist_R. He asks, being surrounded by a devotedly religious family and community, what led you to becoming skeptical? I feel like I'm a special case because I was not a scientific person. I didn't, as many of you have found out this week, and as for so many people who have a hard time understanding, I didn't have a secular education. I had an Islamic based education. So even if we learned like English, maths, history, it was all rooted in Islam and always connected back to Islam. So I didn't have a secular education, and that kind of made me disinterested in sciences. I'm much more interested in them now, but I have a hard time navigating them because I wasn't given the tools to study science, like the basics of studying science. So I'm like relearning a lot of it. But so I didn't have like a lot of disillusionment that many Muslims have before they leave Islam, or ex-Muslims have before they leave Islam rather. It didn't matter to me that the Quran may not be sound with science, because to me it was God's word and I don't care about science. It's God's word, so he's correct. Science is wrong, which I understand is a problematic position to hold. I get that. I've read your emails, but it's just something I didn't take seriously. Also on a moralistic level, like people would bring me moral arguments and I would just be like, well, God's the one who sets the standard, so moral is moral because God says it's moral. I would never, I'm not disloyal like some of y'all Muslims out there who will be like, oh, like these rules are updated, like you can no longer marry children and you can no longer have a slave and all that shit. Like, no. I was consistent with my text, and I used to say, God sets the rules. Whatever God says, that's what we do, because we fear him. He's our God. He made us. We do what he says. You can't make something haram that Allah has made halal, and you can't make something halal that Allah has made haram. So shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down. I know my shit when it comes to Islam. Sorry, I'm like in a mood today, if you couldn't tell. But what really took me out, what really made me skeptical, was when I actually met non-Muslims. And I kind of talk about that in my speech that I did at Bristol last week. Coming across non-Muslims and humanizing them and realizing that they were humans just like me, and they weren't these terrible, fiendish people who just wanted to sin and be awful all the time. That's what made me skeptical, is that non-Muslims, the gays, sorry, I always say that, and I know it's problematic, but I feel like I can say it because I'm bisexual. It's really bad. It's really awful. I'm so sorry. But I didn't know, for example, what a homosexual was when I was a Muslim, because I'd only heard of them through a Muslim perspective, through a Muslim lens, because I only had like an Islamic education. So when I first came across people who weren't Muslim, who weren't from a Muslim background, who actually just wanted to engage with me, ask me some questions, and genuinely cared about me as a human being, it put a lot of doubts in my head. Like, why are these people burning in hell? Because they don't believe in God? Because they're not terrible people. They're good people. And from my lens, from my objective, frankly stupid lens, they're good people. So I couldn't understand, and also Muslims are a minority in terms, because obviously God doesn't separate humanity by the different religions they follow. He just separates them in believers and disbelievers. And even the believers, there's only one saved sect. You have to remember that out of 70 something, right? So Muslims are always a minority that are going to be saved and sent to paradise, whereas everyone else is going to fucking hell forever. So how is that merciful? How is that in any way merciful? And God frequently claims to be merciful with his names like Rahman, Rahim, Quddus, Malik, whatever. He has 99 fucking all of them. But he has all these titles. And that's what made me skeptical, and that's what made me question. Also, like, the qadr aspect of it, the fact that he also knew who was going to go to burn in hell, gave me the idea that maybe he isn't who he says he is, and maybe I shouldn't be believing in him. Which is kind of why I have these like little monologues where I'll talk about Allah as if he exists, because he did exist in my brain for such a long time, and it's kind of difficult to separate that entity that I used to believe in. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Like, it's not just the fact that even if he did exist, you still have to give me a reason to worship him, because he's still a tyrant regardless. So to me, I need to find a new term, because I really don't care if there's a God. Even if you prove to me today that there is a God, you still have to make me understand why I need to worship him. Because if he's fucked up like Allah is, he's not worthy of worship, and I don't care. I just don't. So next question from my good friend Philip, whose handle is Salsa Nips. What's the best thing? So what is the best thing? And he said, don't say freedom, because I know you're going to say that. I don't know. I've been thinking about it over the last few days. Tattoos is definitely one that I enjoy a lot. I think that's the best thing. Like, the best sin that I'm committing. Obviously, I don't consider it a sin, but, you know, in terms of religious rules, I think that tattoos is something that I really, really enjoy. I really enjoy dogs. I think that dogs are amazing, and I'm really, really excited to have one at some point. There was a dog at Ali Malik's house party that I went to on the weekend, and he was beautiful. His name is Simba. Oh, he was such a gorgeous little baby. And I would also probably say sex. Sex is really fun. Sex is really fun. I'm so glad I didn't get married to one guy that I would have been stuck with and never like experienced different things that I enjoy within sex. But yeah, those would be the three things that I enjoy the most, I think. Tattoos, dogs, and sex. Drinking as well, but I think it's a hit or miss. Like, I hate drinking by myself. I don't drink by myself. I think it's a terrible habit to develop. But I enjoy drinking with specific people. There are some people that I absolutely detest drinking with because they're not fun. But there are people that I really enjoy drinking with. But I don't know if it's the combination of the alcohol and the conversation, or if it's just the conversation. And also, like, in Amsterdam, we did some fun things. We did some fun experiments. And I think I just come off as high all the time, like high drunk, like I'm just full of life right now. Because whenever I was like high in Amsterdam or drunk in Amsterdam, no one could tell that I was. And I genuinely don't know if that means I can just handle it very well, or I just always come off as fucking insane. I don't know. But, you know, I don't think that either of those things is a bad thing. So, just fun. Fun is fun. Fun is fun. Fun is the best thing since leaving Islam. So the next question is free. So it's free THI 870212253. I'll have to edit these in later. They ask, how does it feel to sin now? And what's an example? I don't sin now because there aren't sins. There aren't sins. There's right and there's wrong. Obviously, there's still remorse in doing bad things, but I haven't done like any terribly bad things since leaving Islam. I don't think. I have like this greater respect for living and for respecting other people, because I know this is the only life I'm gonna get, and this is the only life that they're gonna get. So I don't want to fuck up their day. Like, I genuinely don't want to fuck up their day. But like, drinking is fun, petting a dog is fun, like sin in terms of an Islamic context, like how do I feel doing that? I honestly don't think about it. It's just a part of life now. And I don't think that you should like focus on that. Like, obviously when it comes to like drinking and recreational drugs and things like that, you should take care. Like, don't do them, I'm saying like too much. Don't do them recklessly. I think that falling into a slippery slope is very, very easy with things like that. So be careful. But with most things like showing your hair, and someone asked me the other day, like, how did it feel to take off your hijab for the first time? And in all honesty, it made me feel so paranoid. I was so paranoid. But the next few times, like, it was a lovely sensation to like feel the rain. I still love feeling the rain, like in my hair, feeling the wind in my hair, feeling the breeze on my face. It's so refreshing. As someone who wore a niqab until I was like 20, feeling the breeze on my face, feeling the cold, feeling the warmth, like it's so lovely. It's like something that I can never fully explain to someone who, you know, always covers their head or covers their face. It's just something you just, even if you're a Muslim, like, I'm not saying you have to run around outside and show all your hair to the men, but like, if it's windy one day, just go into your backyard when no one else is outside and just let your hair out and feel it, because it's majestic, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. And like, it's one of the reasons why I shave the back of my head, because I love feeling the wind on my skin. It's something that I'm so grateful for. It genuinely, I know it sounds stupid, but it's something that I'm genuinely grateful for now. But anyways, next thing is, what is the difference in the level of peace? I guess it depends what you mean by level of peace. I certainly don't have like the peace in God. Like, things are certainly more uncertain now because my life is an endless series of options. And that can be daunting, but at the same time, there's a thrill to it. And I mentioned in the last video, the first part of this, that I really, really enjoy the thrill of living and making my own choices and being my own person and being able to write my own story instead of just having everything laid out for me and deciding what I want to do with my life. I have an ambivalent relationship with the uncertainty, but for the most part, it's positive. I don't often feel a sense of peace. There are moments of contentment, but I don't often feel a sense of peace. And I think that feeling a sense of peace should be reserved to like the end of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, to retirement. Like, that's when you should be looking for that. You shouldn't be looking for that as a young person who has so much ahead of them, has so much dumb shit to do, who has so many things to experience. Peace isn't something that I'm looking for. Fuck it. You know, like, I don't want my life to be planned. And it was that's exactly what my life was before. And I don't want it to be planned. I want it to be an up and down roller coaster. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be sad. I want it to be tragic. I want it to be fun. I want it to be happy. I want it to be everything. I want to be the most human person ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is so much thrill to being alive that I don't care about peace. We're not made for peace. I am not made for peace. I've never been made for peace. In times of peace, I just lose my mind because all I can do is sit and think. And that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to think. I want to do. So I don't care about peace. But thank you for the question. Now, the last and final questions come from Robert 86202988, and he asked quite a few questions. So I'm going to try and gun through these. So he asked, were you a sinner? So were you like a namesake Muslim, or were you always devout? While I was a Muslim, I was always devout. I kind of slipped up in like the last year of me being a Muslim because I was like losing my faith. But I was always a devout Muslim. Prayed, like, in terms of the things that I believed and my actions in Islam. So there are 6 articles that you have to believe in. So God, his angels, his books, his messengers and prophets, the last day, and preordainment or predestination, or the understanding that God knows everything. And the 5 things that you have to do to remain, the 5 actions that you have to do is to take the Shahada, or testify, you know, that you believe in one God and Muhammad's his messenger and all that shit. To pray Salah 5 times a day minimum, to fast in Ramadan, to pay the zakat or the mandatory charity, roughly 2.5% of your yearly income, but it changes depending on your assets, and the Hajj. Now, while I've never been on Hajj, I used to stick to all the other shit, because Hajj you're only meant to do once in your lifetime to like purify yourself of sin. So yeah. And then he asked, like, I was devout in that sense. Like, I did all those things, but I had doubts, and I kind of fell off the wagon. But I was always devout. So what were my guilty pleasures as a Muslim? My only guilty pleasure that I remember having was when I was in like year 7 or year 8. And I used to listen to a bit of music. I know, tragic, terrible, haram. But I used to listen to some music, and the bands that I used to listen to, I specifically used to listen to 4 bands because I was a fucking emo chick, goth chick. I used to listen to Evanescence, Green Day, Nickelback, and I still love Nickelback. Don't care what you think about that. And Linkin Park, which is my favorite band. I got a tattoo for Chester Bennington. Linkin Park is my favorite band, but my guilty pleasures were mainly reserved to that. And I had like this, I think you asked, like, what did you feel about those guilty pleasures as well? And I remember this, it was just, it's such a dumb story looking back, but when I was a kid, I was actually really terrified. There was a girl in my school who had like lent me her iPod or her MP3 player. Hi, I'm old. She had lent me her music device, and I'd taken it home, and I was like listening to this music at nighttime because I couldn't do it around my parents. It was haram. I wasn't allowed. I was being a rebel. And I was listening to this music, and it must have been like some Evanescence song that I was listening to, and I could just see like this vision of fire, and it terrified me. I put it away, and I never listened to music after that until I left Islam again. Left Islam, because I was so terrified by that vision. Looking back, it was probably just my mind feeling guilty, and that's what I saw. Stupid. But yeah, that was my guilty pleasure as a Muslim. I used to love reading, but that's not specifically haram, so I can't say that it was a guilty pleasure. Is there anything I miss specifically about Islam and nothing to do with my family? No. There was nothing. Islam zombified me. It gave me all the instructions in my life. It gave me a plan to live by. It told me that my future was to be married and to have kids and then to die. I miss nothing about it. It was a horrible set of rules that maybe I needed to go through, but I miss nothing about it. It zombified me, and I am alive, girl. Like, I'm here to stay alive. How much do you surprise yourself? All the time. I could spend 5 days talking about how I surprise myself. I surprise myself all the fucking time. Like, I cannot stop surprising myself. It's scary. Every time I surprise myself, I have to call up one of my friends and have like a panic attack. Sometimes I actually do have a panic attack. The first time I realized that one of my exes loved me, I had a panic attack. I had a panic attack because I did not know what that feeling was. And it's so fucking sad when I say things like that, but it's true. I didn't know what it was. When I'm really happy, I cry because I don't understand what that feeling is. It's so alien to me. It only happens once in a blue moon, and I'd never felt it before. Like, I hadn't felt it until adulthood. You know what I mean? Like, it's so strange to me, and it surprises me. This week, last week actually, I spoke in a venue in front of people, and that was something that I never envisioned doing. It's something that I never envisioned doing. And there was such a rush to it that the next morning I felt hungover. Like, my whole body ached, my foot wouldn't stop cracking. It was so weird, but it was one of the most eye-opening experiences that I ever had, and now I'm like really excited to speak more in public to people. Maybe not debate, because I don't think that I have a debating style, and I don't like going into a place with the intention of winning. I like going into a place with the intention of learning. So I don't think that I'd be interested in debating, but in speaking and like putting out my ideas, or even doing like a comedy sketch, not a sketch, but like just telling some jokes on stage, like that's something that I feel like I'd be really into. and I got a taste for it, and I really, really enjoy it. So I surprise myself all the time, and I'm living my best life. I really, really want to get back into writing because I have all these ideas and I need to put them somewhere, and I feel like they'd be really good in a written form. But I'm just looking for the opportunity to do that right now. I might get to it in the next few days. I might showcase some of my work on my blog, so if you aren't following me there, please do consider it. But those are all the questions that I have for you, all the statements that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing this video. Leave me your comments. If you didn't like the video, please tell me why in the comments below. I welcome all kinds of ideas, all kinds of hate comments, all y'all trolls. You are free to leave your comments on my page. Dislike the video, unsubscribe, roast me on Twitter, roast me in the comments. Do what you have to do. I'm here for it. If you would like to support me in a more monetary way, which I would deeply appreciate as someone who is currently in between jobs and is waiting for a response on those interviews, girl, I would really, really appreciate it if you sent me some money, send some money my way. Obviously, there's no obligation to do it. You know, we ain't getting funded by the Zionists, so we need some money from somewhere, bitch. Like, sorry. You can either give me a one-time donation through my PayPal, which is in the description below, or you can become a patron, which is also in the, I don't know why I didn't just say those things together. It's also in the description below. I have a Patreon, I have a PayPal, and I have some very interesting announcements to make in December. But those announcements are only currently available on my Patreon. So if you would like to, you know, become a patron of mine, please do consider it. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully the next one that I put out will be on Wednesday, and it will be my speech, and I really hope that you enjoy it because I think I did really well. Unfortunately, it's not the whole panel discussion because I didn't think that everyone would be comfortable being recorded, but I did record my own and it's only audio. And then on Friday, I really want to do a sin score for Asadullah Ali, because your man has left me 6 tweets to work with and judge. So that's what we're doing on Friday, and that's my plan for this week. So stay tuned. I will return to you soon, but until then, and until next time, thank you for watching me, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.